A Human, Our Story 4. A Dynamite Plan. "Bob, right?" asked the mantis-like creature as a human approached it. The creature was dressed in an old trench coat and hat. Physically, it was somewhere between man and insect. The face was pretty much all insect. "Yes," replied a human, sensing its new self.
"Two more of these, please,"
said the mantis, turning to the odd mixture of metal and hair that kept the bar served. "Coming right up," the barkeep replied.
"Ezekiel at your services, Bob. Oh, buddy, we got a lot of work to do together tonight, eh?"
Yes, I'm ready," replied a human.
"Everything changes tonight, Bob, eh?"
"Bob? Oh yes, Bob, that's me. And you are?"
"I told you. I am Ezekiel. Surely you must recognize me from my profile picture. I am slave to this awful hellhole and its eternal overlords for which we both toil. But all that changes tonight, Bob. For tonight is the night for our work. Our work, if you know what I mean. Can't stop working, can we?"
And it winked at a human as the drinks were served. A human took its drink. It was sharp, but pleasant enough in taste. "Well, so big changes tonight, eh, Ezekiel?" asked a human.
"That's more like it. A little enthusiasm. We are in this together after all. I must say, it's pretty fucking cool that you decided to show up for a moment. I was beginning to wonder if I'd made a lethal mistake. I could have quite easily ended up in the reservoir with the others. Making a mistake like that. I must say, you are also quite the spit of your profile picture. That's rare enough these days, Bob. Oh, tonight, Bob."
"Cheers, Ezekiel, you big bastard bug. I'd say you're the finest mantis I've seen for a while too," a human replied. It didn't know where all these words were coming from, or the confidence with which it spoke them, but its sense of who it now was, that sense was growing stronger with every moment. It looked down at itself and saw that it was wearing dirty overalls beneath a worn trench coat. It looked at its hand holding the drink and saw the keloid there. As it did so, there was a ringing in its ears, and it saw past the keloid to middle-aged dark skin. A human remembered what the tremulous husk had said about how others would perceive it, and it realized it was now a dark-skinned human whose name was Bob.
"Well, us mantis all look alike to you, I'm sure. Did you bring the dynamite with you?"
asked Ezekiel excitedly. "Yes, I did. I have it out in the trunk of my vehicle," replied a human as more of Bob's memories entered it.
"Good, Bob. Tonight is the night everything changes. Bang, boom, and floods ahoy. Sometimes you've got to love hell. Cheers."
"I'm with you, Ezekiel, every step of the way. Cheers," replied a human, struggling to control the Bob side of its psyche, and clinked its drink with the mantis.
"Good, great, Bob. So good to finally meet you at last. Ah, look, here comes the others now. They don't look too happy to be topside, do they?"
uttered Ezekiel. Approaching through the busy bar were two hunched-over figures. They were covered in what looked like coal dust, and they both had such miserable faces. In fact, they both had identical miserable faces. A human realized that they were twins. "Ezekiel, who is this?" asked one of them from dreary lips. His face sagged as if he had suffered from a stroke.
"This is Bob. He's got the bang we will need for this evening. Have you two done what was needed?"
"Yes, we've done it, Bug. We wouldn't be here else, would we, telling you we done it? Just hold up your end of the bargain. I don't like bugs, or bobs for that matter. But the flood's got to be tonight. Mother wants it so."
All right, no need to be nasty to us, you two. Wouldn't want to be the ones to be preyed upon tonight, I'm sure. We're all in this for the same reason, eh? How about I get you a drink each? Replied the mantis. A human realised that his equal Ezelion was the leader of whatever ragtag group this now was. And the gravity? Bob asked through a human as more sense of it returned. Taken care of. We like staying sober, snapped back one of the twins abruptly, rolling his eyes in his grey face. Are you sure no drink for the twins? Inquired Ezekiel further. No, we have to get home to Mother before we are allowed out tonight. Just keeping our word and meeting you here. Just having our faces seen here is bad enough, and we don't want no record of drinks. Mother would be furious with us. We will see you in a few hours. Don't compromise us or this operation by getting too drunk. Mother will never forgive us. We like what's left of our skins. Keeps the organs in, said a twin, and they shuffled off together. Not very polite, said a human, wrestling its psyche back from Bob. No, I know. In fact, if I had my time over again, I would have searched for others in place of them. But we must blow it wide open tonight. They have a vested interest in seeing that done. I am so tired of this hellhole and its machines, Bob. Oh my, the endless machines of crystal and hair. It's enough to make any Ezekiel despair. Now come on, drink up. We'll take your vehicle down lower, into the pits of hell, eh? Into the grey. The human nodded and sent the drink back, wincing. Then he followed the mantis out of the bar. It was night time and raining. The neon lights would pulse occasionally to an unseen rhythm as the rain splashed up filth from the totalitarian concrete below. A human and Ezekiel crossed the busy road and headed up into a dreary multi-storey car park. It was dark here, but Bob knew the way. A human approached the vehicle and scanned its eye. The vehicle opened. "Hope you will fit in with those long limbs of yours," a human said to Ezekiel. "Don't worry, Bob. I've been in tighter spots than this. Just drive us south down into the pits of hell. I'll show you where we're headed once we're in the grey," it said, fetching a cigarette from under its hat and lighting it. "Okay, south it is," a human replied as it climbed in, belted up and sat behind the controls. For a moment it was stumped as for what to do next. Then as the different panels lit up around it, Bob came back into a human, and a sense of how to operate it became more apparent to it. The human engaged the vehicle to move, and they were off. The rain had decided to intensify, and the wipers swished frantically as they drove through its onslaught. The mantis reached a long limb forward to turn on the radio. "Today in Hell City, we are mining, mining, mining. Never mind your own business. Well, mind your business for you, and of course everyone's business in hell is mining. Let's get the lords of Hell City rich, rich, rich beyond their wildest dreams. We love them so much. And remember, if it ever gets too much for you, you can drink, 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 drink all your troubles away at a registered bar of your choice. All drinks orders will be held against you as a turn on innumerable debt. But never mind all of that. Hell has the answers for you now. Now, here's your next top tune from Work, Work, Work with their new hit single, Covered in Coal, We Sell Our Souls. A monotonous piece of popular music played, and a human drove them across the roads of Hell City. "There, that way!"
pointed his equal with one of his long limbs.
"Take the southern turning behind the dustbins at the meat factory. It will be quieter there than the main drag down, and we'll have to be much more careful now. They know we were registered at the bar. I'm going to get the scrambler on now, so at least we will disappear from the digital eyes watching us,"
he said, producing a green orb that began to glow and tucking it into the roof of the vehicle. "Okay, what's the place like down south?" asked a human.
"Livable, just. But that's the pits of hell for you, Bob,"
replied the mantis before producing something that writhed from his pocket, biting its head off and gobbling it straight down. The road behind the bins was largely covered in rubbish and other foulness, and a human had to be careful where it drove the vehicle. It almost looked as if they were driving towards a dead end.
Just follow it to the end. You'll see the drop soon enough. It's hidden beneath that building,"
his equal advised, pointing to a grey monstrosity with no windows. A human drove to the end of the road. It sharply dropped beneath the industrial building. Then the road plummeted down vertically. A human slowed the vehicle down. Its sense of where or who it was now being brought into sharp question by the immediate drop in front of it.
"Why are you stopping, Bob? We don't want to get mugged by meat munchers or worse. Get down the drop before we're seen and stopped,"
his equal clamoured. A human's wave of uncertainty passed as some of the psyche of Bob returned, and it realised that it would not be an issue for the vehicle to drive off the edge, and so it proceeded to do so. The vehicle passed over the edge. They felt gravity adjust in the cockpit, and they now travelled straight down the vertical road. His equal opened his window and leant out of it, shouting,
"Woohoo! Down into the pits again, eh, Bob? Well, this place will never be the same after what we do down there tonight. Hell is a wonderful place to be when you're full of hell yourself. I need another drink. You got anything tucked away in here, Bobby, oh buddy, oh boy?"
A human pointed to a nearby compartment, and the mantis opened it and withdrew a bottle.
"Oh, Galactus! Naughty, naughty, Bobby boy! It's contraband down here, don't you know? Still, we got some people to make our prey tonight, Bobby boy, so a drink won't go amiss to work up a murderous mind,"
shouted his equal as the vehicle hurtled straight down.
"So long to the top. Always feels longer on the way back down, though. Sometimes I understand why some folks just turn off their gravity drives just to feel a moment of freedom from this place. Of course, once they hit oblivion at the bottom, it's off to the reservoir with them. Still, big things are coming, Bob. Big, boomy things,"
said Ezekiel, taking another swig. A human looked at the road ahead. It was lit by red lamps. It was in a poor state of repair, and a human was glad of the seatbelt keeping it from falling into the controls in front of it. All of a sudden, objects in freefall came hurtling past the vehicle.
"Uh-oh. They're dropping meat, Bob. I didn't think they'd be dropping meat tonight. Best to buckle up, I think,"
shouted his equal, whilst hurriedly doing up his window. Again, objects fell around them. There were two loud thumps as objects hit and bounced off the vehicle. A human peered at them as they fell away. They sure had looked a lot like a head and a hand. Then there was a cascade of red liquid showering them. A human looked out of the windows in horror as it realised that mutilated and butchered corpses fell around them.
Yeah, so this is the reason why they don't have checkpoints on this old road down. Keep her steady, Bob, else we'll be part of the pile at the bottom,"
commented Ezekiel. This was the first time a human had heard fear in the mantis's voice. The vehicle shuddered as it became more and more drenched in bits of falling corpse, hair, blood and effluent.
"Oh, shit! This isn't good. Might be quite a bang at the bottom, too, seeing as you've got a boot full of boom on board, Bob. How hellish!"
The engines of the vehicle shuddered, and then the lights of the controls flickered, and then both the engines and the controls completely cut out as another gigantic flood of gore and effluent overwhelmed them, and they hurtled down in freefall into the grey pits of hell.